Hey guys, welcome to another episode of GM Fantasy. And in today's video, we're going to go over the timeline for a contract league. We'll basically go over what needs to be done throughout the year, and specifically in our type of league anyway. So let's get it going. So after the Super Bowl fantasy, or sorry, rather the fantasy Super Bowl, you will have a dead period. Unfortunately, nothing's really happening. Same thing for the real NFL. So the league only really starts kicking off after the NFL draft in late April. So after the rookies get drafted, we'll have what we call a GM meeting in May. And during this meeting, it's a time for all the guys to get together and maybe discuss the direction that they want the league to take, or maybe some rule changes that need to be done. We can, for example, let's say the trading deadline is week 9, and some of the guys want it to be week 11. No worries, just have a vote, and obviously majority rules. So if let's say it gets voted to week 11, all right, fantastic. Now this year the trading deadline will be set to week 11, and that's taken care of. You can do also for maybe for scoring rules. Maybe some of the guys rather have 6 point touchdown passing touchdowns instead of 4 points. Can have a vote for that. Passes, great. If it doesn't, you keep it going the way it is. You could also talk about maybe implementing some new features to the league. I know in one of our leagues right now, we're currently discussing adding Fab to the mix. Currently, we're using just the regular waiver wire system from basically any standard league. Some of the guys want to add Fab. Some of the guys are a little hesitant on it. So during this meeting is the time that those guys are using to pitch their idea and try to sway people to vote their way when the voting happens. So that's what the meeting's for. It's a good time to get together and just discuss these things. Sometimes we just head out to a bar and have a few drinks and discuss it. Other times, I know when COVID happened, we had to do Zoom meetings, and I think we've been doing Zoom meetings ever since. But if you guys want to get together, if everyone's in the same town, then hey man, that's also a good time. So I highly recommend you do that. And yeah, so after the GM meeting, we'll set all the dates for everything, obviously. So for us, we set the dates for our RFAs to be happening in June. So basically, by June 1st, we have to have our tenders set, and I'll show you what that looks like a little bit over here. Was it in this one? Yeah, over here. So over here, you can see that over here is on our Google Sheets. We have our RFA tenders. Here we have our little legend. We have two tiers: RFA 1, RFA 2, and these are the tenders, and these are the compensations. So you can see over here. Let's say we'll go to my team. I only have RFA 1s this year, so I set my tenders as you can see over here. For Stroud, I put 15. So essentially, what that means is right now he's on a 1 year contract for $15 currently. And now we're going to have a 2 week period where other owners can make an offer sheet on those players and try to steal them. So if someone wants to come over the top and let's say, I don't know, put them at $25, okay? If I think that's too much money, I don't want to sign him for 25. I have either I can let him go. I'll just let him go, and I will get that player's first, second, and third round pick back as compensation. And if I really don't want to let him go, I could be like, all right, fine, I'll match it. It'll be $25 now instead of 15. Same thing over here. You got Jameer Gibbs. I have him at 30. As you can see here, it's a cannot be signed away. I don't want to take the chance of losing him, so I put him at the maximum tender. It's expensive, but it guarantees me to have him for at least for 1 more year. And as you can see here, I got Shakir at 5. 5 will be 2/3, and when it's 2/3, it's basically a consecutive year. So it'll be for 2025 and 2026. Then you can see over here we got RFA 2s. My buddy Jeff here, he has say Chuba Hubbard, and RFA 2s you can offer full contracts, so up to 5 years in our league. And you can see here he put him at 17 for 3 years, and the reason he did that is because I think he wanted a second round pick back as compensation if you ever were to let him go. So he set it at a $52 value for the contract. So if someone else came over the top and let's say put him at $20 for 3 years, and Jeff's like, no, I don't want to sign him for that much, and he'll let him go. So now the other player gets him 20 for 3 years, and he will have to surrender his second round pick to Jeff as compensation. So it's pretty simple. Like I said, we set 2 weeks for new bids. After the 2 week period is over, there's no more new bids. If there's any existing bids still going on, well, then we'll let those play out, obviously, and that'll be the end of the RFA period. After that, we will have in July the UFA period and the UFA frenzy, and that was basically all the players that had their contracts expired from the previous year. We put them into a big, I guess, auction style draft for the year, and we'll use MFL.com message board to do the bidding. It's perfect for this. As you can see, everything is time stamped. That's why we use it. It just keeps everything simple, no bickering amongst anyone, as everything is plain black and white. So you can see over here, I'm Montreal Elites. So I started a bid on CMC. So I started off at $20 for 3 years. This guy over here came over the top on me and offered a different contract with a different term. Now you're gonna say, oh well, this one's 20 and this one's 19. How is he beating you? Well, he added an extra year to the term, and this contract has a higher value than my contract. And the way that's we have a formula for that. So the way we determine that is you take the smallest term. So over here you can see it's 3 years, and you multiply it by the contract value. So 20. So 3 times 20 is 60. Over here, you're gonna see small term 3. So you're gonna have to go 3 years here. So 3 times 19 will be 57, and then well he has an extra year. Well, how that works is this will now be for every extra year you put half the value of the contract. So half of 19 will be I believe 9.5. So 9.5 plus the 57 would make it 67 and a half, I believe. So 67 and a half beats 60, so that's why this contract is of higher value. So then I came back over the top, and I wanted to keep it at 3 years. So I had to go and make it a higher value. So as you can see, 3 years times 23 will make it 69. So 69 will obviously beat the 67. And so that's why this one's higher. And then we've been keeping it at 3 years ever since. And he's currently right now at 30 for 3 years. And that bid was made on July 4th at 322. So right now it's July 5th. So I got to wait till tomorrow at 322. And if no one else makes a bid, he's mine. So over here you got some other players. This is just the running back thread. We keep every position in its own thread to help keep that easier to track. So you can see here, oh, bid over. So that means this guy over here, Funky Town, has secured Joe Mixon for $17 for 5 years. That means so he made his last bid on July 2nd at 4:14. No one has made a bid since. So it's been 48 hours. He secures Joe Mixon. And so you can see here, you got Eckler going. So over here, see this guy was at 3 for 2, so that's a 6-year value contract. And then this guy went pretty much in the other direction and just added a lot of term for a smaller amount. This one, I believe, so if you go 2 years, so it's 4, and then you have to half for 3 years, so 3, so 4 plus 3 is 7. So this one's valued at 7, this one's valued at 6, so that's why this one wins. And then obviously they've been going 3 for 5 and 4 for 5 since, so that's easy to track. And yeah, so we're all the way for these are the current running backs that are being bid on. There's probably still a few other running backs available in the free agency pool, just no one has nominated them for a bid yet. People are probably just trying to see who goes where first before they start nominating other players. You can nominate, by the way, as many players as you want. You can sign as many players as you want, and you'll have to deal with the consequences after if you end up signing too many. But that's how it works. So we'll go here for, let's say, like wide receivers. Same thing. Over here, you can see that someone made a bid here 7 for 3, so that's a value of 21. And then someone over here came over here and made a bid 5 for 5, which was an invalid bid. It did not beat the 7 for 3. 5 for 5 is a value of 20. So 5 times 3 is 15. And then there's 2 more years at 2.5. So 2.5 plus 2.5 equals 5. So 5 plus 15 equals 20. 20 does not beat 21. So he ended up having to correct his bid to go up to a value of 28 for 7 for 4. And it's currently right now at 8 for 5. And we're waiting for that bid to end. So you can see here other players, same thing. Wide receivers. I don't see what the quarterbacks. I haven't checked this one out yet. I don't need a quarterback, so I haven't really checked this one. So over here, you can see that Jordan Love was signed for $35 for 5 years. That's an average contract for a decent quarterback. Quarterbacks are king in this league, so they're gonna have obviously the bigger contracts. So I would say 35 for 5 years is a solid deal for Love. It's not expensive, but it's not cheap either. It's probably right where he needs to be actually. And then over here we got, oh, here we go, Sam Darnold. Has been signed for $11 for 3 years. Look, this could be either a great value, having a starting quarterback at $11, but will he last 3 years as the starter is the question. So if he doesn't, let's say he's only a starter this year and then he's a backup for the next 2 years, well, this guy's got Darnold on his active roster for $11, just sitting there, not doing anything. So definitely a risk, but also could definitely be a good reward. And then over here we got just a $3 1 year bid for Joe Flacco. That makes perfect sense. If he ends up starting, you got a starting quarterback for $3. That's great value, and he's only got him for 1 year because obviously Flacco's probably not going to start next year for someone. So Vinny made a pretty good signing right here. Very low risk and high reward in my mind. So you can go back the Titans as well, and well, we do the same thing for the RFAs, by the way. Just maybe to touch back up on that. So RFAs here. The guy set, let's say this one here for Bijan. The guy said, I remember the guy set his tender for $15. So I thought, hey, I can definitely afford a first, second, and a third round pick to get one of the best running backs in the game. So I put a bid on him for $30 1 year, and someone else came over the top, went back bid and forth, and then he went to 35. At that point, I was like, you know what? He's starting to get a bit expensive. For a running back, quarterbacks, this would be a no-brainer, but for running backs, it's getting a little bit expensive. So I decided to back out, and didn't really matter in the end because the original owner ended up matching the bid. So he has him for the 1 year for $35. Um, well, one thing actually, this owner made an error. Actually, where is it? Wide receivers. Yeah, he made an error this year, and he's a little salty about it, but he'll get over it. He had Amon Ra, St. Brown set at $20 for 5 years, so a value of 100, which would have been a first round pick in compensation. Unfortunately, the timer expired, and he did not signify what he was doing. So a non-answer is an automatically awarded to the player who's stealing. So Gates was the one that made the offer 34 5 years. So now he's going to get Amon Ra, and Hertz season is going to receive Gates' first round pick back as compensation. Hertz was not happy about this. He said that he had mentioned to the commissioner in a private chat that he was probably going to match him, and that just was just thinking about it for a bit longer before he makes his decision. Unfortunately, he didn't signify anything further, and probably is not a yes. So we had to unfortunately rule that he's losing Amon Ra and he's being sent to Gates. So that's how the RFAs and the UFAs work. After that, well, the UFAs usually goes until mid-August. It'll be open and then it'll close, and then we'll have the rookie draft in August, late August. So usually we decide whether it's going to be either the second week of preseason or the third week of preseason. I think this year we decided it's going to be the third week. That's not it. Yeah. So as you can see, we have our draft order for our rounds. We go 6 rounds in our league. Other guys go deeper. Other guys go more shallow. It's up to you guys. Over here, you can see that these were the original owners of the picks, and they've all been traded. Yeah. So usually, so like I said, this year we're gonna have the rookie draft third week of preseason, and then we put everyone on our rosters. If you want to see what a roster looks like, we'll check my roster real quick here in this league. There we go. And you can see here, I got my, here's the legend for the color coding. So as you can see here, orange contracts are the veterans. So basically those are players who were signed out of the UFA. If it's yellow, those are the rookie contracts. So you can see here, I got JJ McCarthy on his rookie contract. I drafted him last year in the second round. He was picked 202. Can't believe you fell that late. I guess just because of the injury. So that's why he fell. But I wasn't passing up on that value, so I grabbed him at the 202. And you can see he's going to cost me $3 this year, $5 next year. The rookie contracts have set values, so you don't have to worry about that. And then he's going to be an RFA 1 and then an RFA 2. And you can see here RFA 1 is blue and RFA 2 is in red. Down here, you can see that here's my penalty. So these are contracts that I cut and had to eat half of the penalty, or if I made a trade and agreed to withhold a certain amount, which was what this situation was. I traded away Russell Wilson. He was $44. I just wanted to get rid of him, so someone offered me a second round pick for him if I held 34. So, and he was a UFA next year. So, you know what, might as well get something for nothing. So, I ended up making that trade, took the $34 penalty. As you can see here, I still got $59 in cap space for the UFAs. So, and I got just minor positions to fill, so I should be just fine. Here we got the rookie reserve roster over here. So a good thing about this is it doesn't count towards your active roster. So these contracts don't really count to the active roster. Only when they're promoted and they're permanent will they count. If I wanted to cut anyone here at any time, there's no penalty for it. So that's pretty good. Over here, you can see I got my transaction log. It'll show all my cuts and my trades. So you can see here, last year I made a trade for Josh Allen. George retained $10. He was 50. I got him for 40. I'm sure that was for cap reasons. And I traded Mechie, Addison, Dell, Goddard, and the 110 for Josh Allen, which I thought was a great deal. Like, yeah, you got some players that were on rookie contracts and some good value and some decent value, and Josh Allen only had a two years left on his deal. But for getting the number one quarterback, I made that deal, and he was in cap trouble, so he had no choice to make that deal as well, honestly. So yeah, and like injured reserved and retirement list here. So yeah, you can see here, if a player retires, he doesn't the salary no longer counts towards the to your active roster, and doesn't count as a penalty. And we have a little clause that if, let's say, Matt Ryan were to come back out of retirement, let's say he came back out of retirement this year, because you can see here I still have him for $30 this year. I would have the option to take him back. I could be like, oh, Matt Ryan's coming back. Do you want him for $30 this year? I could be like, yes or no. If I decided no, I don't want him, then he just goes back into the UFA pool. But if I wanted him, I have his rights still, so I can keep him for $30. Obviously, I let him go, but yeah, it's good to have that option. So. So after that, we have the rookie draft. We're gonna have 1 week before the season starts. We're gonna have what we have called compliance, and basically it's just we want to make sure that every team has a set roster, that you're under the salary cap. And what I mean by a set roster is in our league, for compliance, you must have 3 quarterbacks, you must have 4 running backs, 5 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends. You don't absolutely need a flex or a bench spots to be filled. However, for when the season starts and you start a roster, you need to have a flex. So you're gonna have to sign someone within that week to put him in, or promote somebody to put him in to start. Yeah. So that's it. You start in our league. You start 2 quarterbacks. You start 3 running backs. You start 4 wide receivers. You start 1 tight end, and you start a flex. And for compliance, you have to have an additional player per position group to be compliant. So just a little wrinkle we have. It's kind of like the NFL too. It's like you have your 53-man set roster. For us, it's like this. So yeah. During that 1 week, also, if you have any holes, UFA period is technically closed, but we have what we call the $1 1 year UFA, and it's basically if there's any holes you have, and there's still some players in the UFA pool that you want to sign, you can sign them, but it'll be $1 1 year, and it's first come first serve. So other than that, the only really other thing, I guess, would be the trading deadline. We recently made, before we had it at week 9, we recently made had a vote on our GM meeting, and we've now set it to 1 week after whatever the NFL has it set. So if the NFL sets their trading deadline to, let's say, week 10, then our trading deadline will be week 11. If the NFL changed it for any reason, let's say they changed it, they didn't like week 10, they want to go to week 8, well, that means our trading deadline will be back to week 9. So that's about it. After that, you'll have your playoffs and the Super Bowl, and good luck to whoever makes that. So, so that's about it, guys. That's the timeline for the how the league works. If you guys have any questions, if I wasn't clear about something, or you just want some more clarification, write a question in the comments. I'll be happy to get back to you. And again, if anyone wants to ever start one of these leagues, I would love to start a league with some of my subscribers, and I would be happy to get that going. Just let me know, and I'll get back to you on that for sure. So thanks again, guys, for watching. Keep stay tuned, man. I got more videos coming out, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Cheers.